Awesome, Heidi. We can see your screen.
Yay! Okay, so welcome. This is your 90-day roadmap to higher profits. It is more important than ever to get yourself in a really good, stable cash position in your business. So it's really important to increase that net profit, and we're going to talk about how to do that today. So this is your 90-day roadmap to higher profits. So we're going to spend, it's not actually going to be 40 minutes. I think it's about 30 minutes walking you through the 6-step 90-day roadmap for increasing your profits and reducing your workload. Then we'll spend about 10 minutes telling you all about Annie and I's plug and play system that makes implementing this proven roadmap fast and easy. And then we'll do a nice long Q&A and get all of your questions answered. So if you stay on until the end, you're going to actually get the 90-day roadmap, which is a downloadable guide. You don't have to stay for the whole Q&A, just the end of the presentation. We'll give you the link to go download the guide. The guide won't make sense if you didn't hear this training. And so that's why we give it to you at the end, so you have it to reference. All right, so this is us. So I'm Heidi Deco. This is my co-founder, Annie Chu. I will let Annie introduce herself in a minute. For those of you that are new to my world, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've built 4 companies. I sold 3 of them. The last one was for a 7-figure exit. All of them had 50% plus profit margins. I am big on profit margins, and we're going to talk all about that today, how to get those profit margins up. And the number one thing is through your team, because your payroll costs tend to be your number one expense. So those 2 things are highly related to each other. So we'll be talking about that today. So that is a little bit about me. Annie, can you share about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everybody. I'm zooming in from San Juan, Puerto Rico. I've been in the recruiting and onboarding kind of industry for over a decade. So I have an executive recruiting background. I've worked with lots of different companies. Those are, I would say, earlier stage businesses, 7-figure businesses, 6-figure businesses, 7-figure businesses, all the way to companies that have gone public. So Fortune 500 companies, tech companies, private equity firms, nonprofits, and foundations. And so I've recruited at all different levels, from kind of C-level, C-suite level, all the way down to executive assistants, virtual assistants. But what I found through kind of my years of experience recruiting for both overseas talent as well as kind of US and Canada talent is that the process is very much the same, but there is something specific that you need to go through for both overseas hires as well as US hires. And so really excited to partner with Heidi on developing the system that all of you can access and be able to do the recruiting, the hiring, and onboarding part for your business.
Yes. All right. So using this roadmap, we recently took a client, we helped her lower her payroll from $10,000 a month to $25 a month while doubling the amount of support that she had. So she went from having about 45 hours a week of team support spread around a few different people to having 80 hours a week of support. So almost double the support, but went from 10K to 2,500. Now, for those of you that are in bigger businesses, I know there's some people in, multi-million dollar businesses here. The roadmap is the same. So it's the same plan. For example, my friend Kate, which if you're on our email list, you're going to hear about Kate tomorrow. We're actually releasing a new unadvertised last minute bonus that we're adding in a mastermind with Kate and I. So Kate takes in $2.5 million of revenue a year. She has an 88% profit margin, and she works no more than 20 hours a week. And she's only been working 20 hours a week for the last several years in her business, and it's been continuing to grow. And she uses the same playbook. And Kate and I have been good friends for 6 years now. She and I geek out on this all the time. And so she uses the same playbook that Annie and I are using. And this works on small businesses. So whether you're just getting started hiring team, or like this particular client had about $10,000 a month in payroll costs, all the way up to you're running, a multi-million dollar business. This roadmap will help you increase your profit margin. All right, the goal today here is to get most of the minutia off your plate so that you can do more high leverage income generating activities in your business. It's really important as the business owner that you're not bogged down in minutia and you're working on the high level stuff that really matters and moves the needle in your business. And then the next goal is to increase the support so that your team has breathing room and your business can grow. If your team is like maxed out all the time, then every time there's a fire to put out, every time there's a new promotion that you want to do, you have a new idea, a new product you want to launch, a new initiative, what do? Your team is maxed out, right? So then it requires you hiring more people, increasing your payroll cost, increasing your expenses just to launch a new thing or put out the fire. So we want to create breathing room with your team so that there's always room to grow. There's always room to do a new initiative, to do a new promotion, and or to put out a fire when needed. The next goal is that we want to put more cash in your pocket. Like I said at the top of today's training, it's really important, especially right now, not knowing what this recession is going to look like and how long it's going to last, that you get yourself in a really strong cash position. And then you want to get everything systematized so that your business is stable and strong. We're going to talk about how to do that today. I'm going to give you a very easy way. I know a lot of small business owners want to have a process for everything and have their business really well organized, but just getting it there feels very overwhelming. So I'm going to give you a very simple strategy that you can start implementing today that will have your business systemized a month from now. And then, of course, having a winning team. So a happy, efficient team that is set up to support you. Those are our goals with this 90-day roadmap. All right, let's dive in. Your 6-step 90-day roadmap to higher profits. Step 1, you want to do a time and energy audit and then also roles and responsibilities. And this will be eye-opening for you. So you're going to do this on yourself and each team member that you have, no matter how small or how big your team is, even if all you have is a part-time VA right now, or you have a team of 30, it doesn't matter. Everybody, yourself and your team, needs a time and energy audit and a roles and responsibilities. Here's how that works. So for 2 weeks, you're going to do a time study. And if you invest in our program, we actually give you a template of a time study, a template of a roles and responsibilities, and we can give you a video on a page. So you just send that link to your team and it basically sets your team up. You don't need to do anything. You just literally email your team that link. And so your team then, in that video, we explain to your team how this is actually going to make their job easier and better and how it's going to be really good for the company. So we get them enrolled in doing this. And then we give them the templates to make it really, really easy. So here's what that looks like. For 2 weeks, what you're doing is you're tracking everything you're doing, and your team is doing this too. Everybody's tracking everything they're doing in 15-minute increments for 2 weeks so we can really see how your time and how your team's time is being spent. Then you're highlighting it in 3 ways. So orange means it is draining. You do not like this. It drains you. It sucks you dry. Green is it's life-giving for you. It's a thing you love doing. You could do all day, every day. And then white is neutral. Totally neutral about it. It's doesn't drain me, doesn't life give me. I'm just neutral. I'm fine. So you and your team are going to do all those highlights, and you're going to be able to see firsthand how much stuff is on your plate that absolutely shouldn't be on your plate, right? That you should be handing off to somebody else because you're probably doing a bunch of like $20 an hour tasks as a business owner. You absolutely should not be doing that minutia. You also can see what is sucking you dry and how many things you're doing each week that are just really sucking your energy, and how little time you're spending on the life-giving stuff, the stuff that's probably the reason that you started your business. And then same with your team. And then the roles and responsibilities, what that is each person on your team is actually writing out what their roles and responsibilities are, which is eye-opening because in small business, things change a lot. So when you hired somebody, they probably had a certain role and set of responsibilities, and it has continued to change and evolve over time, right? And so what you're going to find is that when you read those, what you think the role and responsibility is for each of your team member is probably a little different, and in some cases very different than what they think it is. There's a disconnect that you didn't actually even know was happening. And so this time and energy audit is going to bring all of that to light for you, right? You're going to be able to see exactly what's going on in the business in your own time and energy audit. And then team seeing exactly what they're actually spending their time on, what they want to be doing, what they don't want to be doing, what they feel neutral about, and what they think their role and responsibilities are. So that right there is a really eye-opening experience that I recommend that you do at least twice annually. And like I mentioned, if you invest in our program, we make it really easy. We give you the templates. We have a video right above the templates that you just send the page to your team, and it tells your team, it enrolls them into doing this and why it's really healthy for them, it's healthy for the company, how it's going to be eye-opening for everybody, and it's going to help you as a business rebalance things so that everybody's more productive, everybody's in their zone of genius, everybody's liking their job more. So we really help get them enrolled, and we do that all for you. You don't have to, that's not like a to-do on your plate. So that is step one, a time and energy audit with roles and responsibilities. All right, step two is eliminate. So following Pareto's principle, which if you're not familiar with that, he's a Italian economist from like a long time ago in the 1700s or something. And he discovered basically the 80-20 rule, which means this. So when he looked at, for example, the roads, he found that 80% or 20% of the roads were driven on 80% of the time. When he looked at the majority of businesses, he found that 80% of the revenue came from 20% of the clients or 20% of the products offerings being sold. And he looked at this across the board and everything in our world and found that the 80-20 rule tends to happen like everywhere we look. And your business is no different. If you really look at your business, about 20% of the things that you're doing are really moving the needle forward and getting you 80% of the results. And so you want to look over that time and energy audit on yourself and your team with kind of a very jaundiced eye. And you want to start eliminating things that are not moving the needle, looking for inefficiencies, redundancies. And you're going to find when you do this audit that there's people on your team doing things that you thought they weren't doing anymore. You thought that they stopped doing them ages ago, but they're still doing them because like they didn't get the memo, right? And you're going to find redundancies. You're going to see this person's doing this, and then this person's doing another version of that same thing, and it doesn't even need to be done at all, right? And so you're going to go through, you're going to be able to swipe, and eliminate, which right there is going to increase bandwidth and make it so that you want to double down on the 20% of things that are really getting results in the business, and you want to let go of as much of the 80% as you can. So step two after you do your audit is eliminate. And if you think like, oh, there's nothing that can be eliminated, do that audit. And I promise you that you're going to message me and be like, I was wrong. We were able to hack a bunch of stuff off. And even if your team is small, and even if it's just like you with a part-time VA, you're going to find things that you're doing that you really just don't need to do anymore. All right. Step three, automate. So now that you've eliminated everything that can be eliminated, now what you want to do is automate, because there is part of that 80% of stuff that's like, well, this isn't really moving the needle a lot, but it still just needs to be done. A lot of that ends up being just different minutia or different stuff in your deliverables or your marketing. And the amount of technology and AI tools are available right now that can automate processes in your business is mind-blowing. And if you follow like Annie and I on social, I talk often about different tools that basically every business can use. They're very easy. They don't take a big learning curve. They're super inexpensive, and they automate a lot of processes in businesses. And then in our program, we of course are a system. It's not a program. It's really a system that you just grab and you plug into your business. It's just a grab and go system that you can immediately start saving time and getting results. And so we do show you tools there as well. And so you want to utilize technology. That is also going to increase the bandwidth of your team because you're getting things off their plate and you're using technology and AI to do some of those tasks. And here's the thing with technology, they get done right. So like if you, pull up your phone and you pull up the calculator on your phone and you type in a math, the answer is going to be correct. If you try to do that same math in your head, the answer might be correct or it might not. So you're human, you make mistakes. But when it comes to a machine following a very specific process, the machine just follows that process exactly every single time. And so when you automate and use technology correctly in your business in a way that really frees people up, you can actually get better results from it, especially in your marketing. So automate. After you eliminate, the next step is to automate. Step 4, delegate and systematize. So you want to create a standard operating procedure, an SOP, for every process in your business. Now, this ensures that the processes that you do have to do that are not automated, it ensures that they get done efficiently and correctly every time, because there's a process for people to follow. And it's dramatically more efficient because each time you do that process, you're not having to hunt down a link or a this or a that. You just have it all laid out, everything you need to do that process with all of the instructions. And then when someone leaves or they go on vacation, anyone can step in and do their job for them because everything in your business has a process. There's an SOP. Here's the easiest way to get processes set up in your business. So for the next month, you and your team, every time you do a process, record the process using Loom. If you're not familiar, it's loom.com. It is just a screen flow video. So it basically just takes a screen, it videotapes your screen basically. So it videotapes you, records you doing the process. Drop that in a Google Doc. You have the video, and then under it, put whatever additional instructions, details, links that are needed so that anybody that's watching that video and following that process, they have those additional things. Then set up a Google Sheet called, SOPs, and list all of your SOPs there, like how to do this, how to do that, how to do this, how to do that, and then just link each of them to the Google Doc where those instructions are. And if you and your team do this for a month, which only takes about 5 extra minutes. So every time you're doing a process, all you're doing is you're spending 5 extra minutes pulling up Loom, clicking record, recording it, dropping it in Google Doc, adding a few links, dropping the link to the Google Sheet. 5 minutes. I've timed it. Then a month from now, all of the processes that you did the entire month are now recorded. They're down. You have an SOP. And you want to empower your team to keep up all of the SOPs that they do and they're in charge of. Because things change, right? You change from this tech tool to that tool or this or that. So it's up to them. If this is a process that you do, like when talking to your team, then that team member is in charge of keeping that process up to date at all times. And if they start doing a new process, you add a new thing, it's up to them to make an SOP for that new process and to, add it. Now, if you're bigger and want to be fancier, you can use a system like Notion. It's a great tool. You can keep all of your SOPs in Notion. But if you want to just keep it simple right now, Google Docs in a Google Sheet that links to all the different Google Doc SOPs. So that's how you systematize. And once you get things systematized, it's really easy to delegate, right? Because you have a system, you have a process for everything in your business. This also increases bandwidth with your team because what you're going to find is the systems, the things that need to get done, the processes get done faster because they can follow the process. They have the links, they have the notes, they have everything they need. They're not tracking anything down. They get done correctly. And so you're not having to have your team redo work because they missed something when they did the process, right? They actually get done correctly. And so all of that creates more bandwidth for your team and then makes it so that you're not so reliant on every team member and what's in their brain, right? You want to have a strong, stable business where somebody can go on vacation or be out or leave and you can take over their job or someone else can take over their job. And then it helps you get stuff off your plate as well. So that is step 4. Step 5, rebalancing of team and payroll costs. So after you've automated, eliminated, audited, eliminated, automated, systematized. The next step is to assess your payroll costs and do a rebalancing. So what you want to do is have your team broken up in 2 layers, an operational layer and a strategy layer. Your operational layer is essentially your admin support, delivering your product to your clients, your marketing. That's all your operational layer. Your strategy layer is really the magic being sprinkled on your business. So that might be a really high level copywriter that's getting you better conversions. It might be a coach that you hired, a mastermind you're in, a specialized something for delivering, like coaches that deliver the product or program that you do that are specialized or certified. The magic sprinklers is your strategy layer. And so your operational layer for most small businesses, especially an online business, 90 to 100% of the operational layer can be outsourced overseas. And that can reduce your payroll costs by like a tenth. So you can get some really high quality, fantastic brothers and sisters overseas in your operational layer that you are providing life-changing income for, and then they are providing a great service to your business in keeping your payroll costs down. And that makes it so you can also afford a bigger operational layer. You can have more breathing room, and it can be at a rate that your business can actually afford, right? Because of just the dollars across the pond. And I know some people have some resistance around hiring overseas. So I do want to talk about that for a moment. So I've worked with overseas workers primarily in the Philippines before it was popular, like the last 15 years. And I have a few things to say about that. So number one, this is life-changing income for them to have steady work from you. And we recommend that you pay above average wages for that position, for what they could make locally for that position. And what you're going to find is, generally speaking, 70 to 80% of the overseas operational team that you have working for you tends to be women. And as we know, worldwide, there is a big pay gap still between women and men. For the same job, women make significantly less money than men make for that same job. You can be part of the solution by paying the women on your team above average pay for that position. So you're actually closing that gap worldwide and raising up women worldwide, which we know, statistically speaking, the impact that has. When more money is in the hands of women, then entire economies transform. And women, what they do with their money is they educate their children, they feed children, they give back to their community. They do, we know that anytime, especially overseas, when you put more money in the hands of women, everything in that community improves, everything gets better. And the studies on that are definitive. And so you are part of a global solution by having your operational team be primarily overseas and providing above average wages. We also recommend, in our system, we'll walk you through this step by step. We have it built into your templates, your job templates and your job offer templates and everything. We have a benefits package that we recommend you give them. Just to give you a couple examples of benefits, you want to invest, somebody that's worked for you for at least 90 days, you want to invest in a generator for them. So in most places overseas, especially like Philippines, different areas of Latin America, their power goes out regularly, right? It's just a really bad power grid system. Even in Puerto Rico, our power goes out constantly. But like Annie and I live in a condo complex. We have condos across from each other that has huge generators. And so we don't suffer the impact of that. But people out in other communities do suffer the impact of not having power on a regular basis, which affects their work, affects being able to feed their kids at night, bathe their kids, just run their house. And so by you investing in a generator, which for you is a very nominal expense, but for them, it's life-changing, right? Now they always have power. They can do their job for you really well. They can feed their kids. They can bathe their kids. They can just run their house. They can do their laundry. They can, like all the things, right? Another thing is you upgrade their internet as well, which for you costs very, very little money in US dollars. But again, they can do their job a lot better. They can run their household better. Their kids can get their homework done, like all of that, because you're providing their house with high quality internet. So these are just a couple examples of life-changing benefits that cost you very little. So you're providing a fantastic income, and you are providing some life-changing benefits to them. And then they are really loyal to you and end up just doing really great work. I've got my programmer's been with me for a decade. I've negotiated, and, as I've built businesses and sold them, I've negotiated in that I keep him, And so you're going to find those kinds of relationships. And what it does is it helps put your business in a stronger cash position by having a significant portion of your payroll overseas so that you can grow, you can have more bandwidth, you're not maxing people out. You actually can have people that, are getting paid 40 hours a week, but maybe they're working 25 to 35 on a regular basis. So they always have room. So a week that you're doing a launch or running a new promotion or have a fire, there's room, everybody's not maxed out on their hours every week, right? So that can be really big. And then that extra cash that you have in your business, you can actually invest more in your strategy layer. You can go hire that amazing high-end copywriter that's going to get you better results, or ad strategist, or coach, or join a mastermind, or like whatever it is that you want to sprinkle the magic on your business that's going to really help you with your growth. You have the funds then to do that because your payroll is all balanced better. So you need to have the right people in the right roles with clear objectives and scorecards. And the goal is to make your strategy layer really lean and then focus your operational layer to be mostly overseas. Without a high functioning, reliable, happy team, you will burn out. I know that some of you here are probably burned out right now, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm burned out, and we've got kind of this like recession thing looming. What am I going to do? The answer is this. You're going to do this 90-day roadmap. That's what you do. So the key is to have the support you need at a price that your business can afford. So you've got the support you need. You can run the promos, the launches. You can do, if you have to say, hey, we're going to have to ditch some programs and launch some new ones. We're going to have to go in a new direction. You have the support behind you to do all of that, make those course corrects in your business and bring in the revenue that your business needs. And then keep a lot of that revenue at the end of the day. Step 6, the final step of our 6-step system, is your hiring and onboarding system. So you need an effective hiring and onboarding system for both overseas and local hires. And when I say local, I mean like US, Canada, that, type of like local, not necessarily in your neighborhood. So you need to have a system in place for both. And it's very, very different. Now, if you've hired overseas before and said, it didn't work out for me, it's because you did it wrong, which isn't your fault. It's a very different and very specific process to get the right talent and to onboard them correctly so that they are set up for success long-term in your business. So in our plug-and-play system, Alchemized Teams plug-and-play system that Annie and I have created, that birthed for you, that we've been working on for years through our businesses, and we just finally turned it into a system that you can just grab and use in your business. We give you the system for both. So for everybody that you want to hire that's like US, Canada based, and everybody that you're going to do overseas, we give you both systems, and it's 2 very different systems, very different ways of finding, vetting, hiring, and onboarding, and we give you both of them. And then that system you have set up then, because here's the reality. People aren't going to stay with you forever, right? They move on to new opportunities, or they get sick, or they retire, whatever. People are not going to stay with you. So you need to have a hiring system set up in your business for both your strategy layer, your operational layer, local people and overseas people that you can at any time turn on and attract, vet, hire, and onboard new talent. Because as long as you're in business, you're going to need to be able to attract, vet, hire, and onboard new talent. That will be a never-ending thing. And as your business grows, you probably have to do more of it, right? And so you do need to have systems set up. And even if you're not the one doing it in your business needs the system set up so that whoever's in charge of that, if you get a chief of staff or chief operator, they're doing it, but the system's all set up for it. All right, let's review. We've got step 1, your time and energy audit and roles and responsibilities. Step 2, eliminate, 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 and get ruthless with your elimination. Like really look at what's moving the needle, what you need to double down on, and what can be eliminated. Step 3, automate. And you want to get ruthless with this too. Don't be afraid of technology and AI. I know it can feel overwhelming. There's a lot of tools that the onboarding is like 10 minutes. Like in 10 minutes, you can like understand it and have it working in your business and have it saving hours and hours and hours every single month, right? So automate, automate, automate. Step 4 then is delegate and systematize. So you want to get all of your processes documented, so everything's systematized, and then you need to delegate. If you don't currently have an assistant, as a business owner, that is the first thing that you need to do. You need to hire yourself a virtual assistant so that you can get 90% of the minutia off your plate and you can be working on those revenue generating activities. And of course, in our plug and play system, we give you everything you need to hire a fantastic assistant. Step 5, you want to rebalance the team and your payroll costs. So do a rebalancing. And then step 6, a hiring onboarding system, both for local, stateside, Canada, whatever based talent, and then overseas talent. So you want to have both of those systems in place at all times so that whenever you need new talent, you can turn it on and you can attract, vet, hire, and onboard the talent that you need. And that's what our plug and play system does for you. All right, so if you want to build a winning team the profitable way, then we have something for you. Introducing Alchemized Teams. We're going to turn your team from lead to gold. This is a plug and play system with coaching support for building and scaling a winning team. And you're going to immediately save time with this. So this is not like a program that you have to sit and go through and digest and watch a bunch of videos and everything like that. No, this is a system that you take and you plug into your business. And then as you have questions, as you want consulting and coaching support, you can just schedule calls with Annie and I. And so Annie and I are available during open office hours every other week for 6 months. And so you can book a 15-minute call with us anytime during our office hours, and you can get unlimited support. So we're super over delivering because we are just launching and we want to make sure that this solution meets your needs. And so we're going to get on the phone with you as many times as you want. We're going to jump on Zoom and find out what's going on in your business and help you problem solve and, get your questions answered and get that solved. And we'll be continuing to create new bonuses that are like unadvertised and just adding them into the program as we see a need. We want to make sure that you have everything that you need to build a winning team. And to be able to continue to have a winning team for as long as you have your business. So both your strategy layer, your operational layer, your, whether you're hiring locally and or overseas, you have everything that you need. All right, so here's what you get. And you're welcome to pull up this page in a new browser window if you want, alchemizedteams.com/proven system. So feel free to pull that up in a new window if you want to just kind of follow along. But I'm going to walk you through, oh, what happened? Okay, here we go. I got scared that all right. So here's what's included in our system. So first off, you're going to get 12 job ad templates. These are customizable, and these are the 12 positions that most small businesses either currently need or will need someday. So these are just like the 12 main positions that businesses need. You get a template for each, and then a list of unique places to post them, both whether you're looking for overseas or you're looking for local. Everything that I'm talking about here, we give it to you for both overseas and local. Okay, you're going to get it for both overseas and local. So really unique places to post them. That's going to attract in a lot of fantastic talent for you. Then automated pre-screening funnel. So as you then get a lot of people applying for the position, you don't want to have to go through all those applications. So we're going to show you how in 15 minutes you can set up a little pre-vetting funnel so that the applications you're going through at least have been pre-vetted, just to save you a lot of time. Then you're going to get this amazing interview guide. Annie just like really knocked the interview guide out of the park. You have for every single position, these are the exact interview questions to ask. Here's how to assess the answers of those interview questions. So all you have to do is like literally open the document and follow along in each of your interviews, and you're conducting a fantastic interview, an award-winning interview, one that somebody, that went to, lots and lots of school in HR to learn did. And so you've got everything you need to ask the right interview questions, assess the answers of those interviews, and then what the next, step is in the process, depending upon how they did. So that's all laid out for you. You can just do it, right? You don't even need to learn it. You literally just follow, like do what it says. That's it. You're going to get a salary and rates guide. I know for a lot of small businesses, they're not sure what to pay for positions, right? They're like, oh, I need a project manager or this or that. And I just like don't even know what to pay for. And so they're like asking all their friends. So we have a salary and rates guide for both your local talent and your overseas talent, so you know exactly what to pay. Then we're going to show you how to negotiate the offer. So it's a win-win relationship between you and them. And we provide you a job offer template for all 12 of the positions. And then this is big, the onboarding playbook. So once you make this great hire, you need to onboard them really effectively, right? And so we walk through a whole onboarding system. As much of it as possible, we're having the onboarding system be grab and go, meaning we have videos that like you just have your new hires watch, because we understand really, really well what things, like for example, with overseas, there's certain things that you need to communicate right away in the beginning of their employment to set them up for success. There's some cultural things that are really important that you address right away. So we have videos where we just address them for you, and all you do is you say, hey, new great team member, watch these videos. Right? Now, if you want to re-record them yourself, you can. You can just take the script and edit it any way you want and re-record it, totally fine. Or you can just use our videos, right? So either way. So I just want to give you an example of this. So years ago, I had this fantastic graphic designer working for me that was based in the Philippines. She'd been with me for quite a while, like I want to say a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. We're in a launch and she all of a sudden like disappears. Like she just disappeared for like 5 days. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what happened? Like, I'm afraid she's like in an accident or like, we just cannot get a hold of her. And so she finally like resurfaces and I'm like, what is going on? And you know what she said to me? I had a baby. I had no idea she was pregnant. And I was like, what? So I, get her to open up to me. And she shared that she was afraid I would fire her if I found out she was pregnant. And at this point, this was years ago, I didn't understand all these different cultural things that are really important, that with our system, we educate you on, and then we get, the system's all set up that all of it's like built into our system. And so, so with new hires that are overseas, you have to create a lot of psychological safety with them right off the bat. And you need to train them that they have to communicate and why and how and all of that. So we provide you videos that just do that for you as part of the onboarding. So we have this whole onboarding playbook that's really fantastic. And that is included in our grab and go system. A new hire assessment tool. This is so important. So if you do make a bad hire, which sometimes is just going to happen, right? You did your best, but you still made a new hire that just didn't work out for you. Then what you want to do is figure that out, suss that out as fast as possible so that you can cut your losses. The longer you keep somebody who is not a good fit, the more expensive it is for your company. So you want to suss that out quickly. So we have this new hire assessment tool where we want to help you suss that out ideally in under 30 days. but we do a 15, 30, 60-day scorecards, and then also kind of an ongoing assessments and how to set that up in the beginning. When you're hiring people, what their assessments are going to be going ongoingly. And then a firing guide, because the reality is you just sometimes have to fire people, right? You're a small business for different reasons. It might be that they're not working out, and it might be that your business is changing and you just don't need them any longer, right? And so you do have to fire people. So we're going to show you how to do that with grace and ease, and how to avoid getting into legal trouble and whatnot in our firing guide. So that's really great. Annie and I do have consulting packages available too. So if you're somebody that you want more hands-on, you're like, I want your system, but I also want you to actually come in my business and really do some of this for me. We do have those options available, which I'll tell you about in a minute. And that includes us doing your firing for you. That's why I'm bringing it up right now. I know firing is the least favorite thing for business owners. So if you want us to do your firing for you, that is an option. And then coaching support. So like I mentioned, for 6 months, you get unlimited 15-minute calls with Annie or I. You can choose. You can meet with me once, and then Annie once, and then me, whatever you want to do. We send you links to our online schedulers. You can choose who you want to meet with. You can schedule unlimited 15-minute calls for the next 6 months, because we want to make sure that you have the support you need to have these systems set up and running in your business and do this 6-step plan that we've laid out for you here. And then we have a fast action bonus ending at midnight tonight. So if you are a decisive action taker and you invest in the system today, in addition to all of that, plus we actually have a $2,000 bonus package that I'm not going to get into because this is going to get too long today. But we have a bunch of other bonuses we're going to give you as well. In addition to those bonuses, you get a private session with Annie or I. You can choose who you want to have your private session with for 30 minutes. And you can use that session anytime over the next year. So you can use your fast action bonus immediately. We've already done some fast action bonuses with some clients, or you can save it and use it anytime over the next 12 months. So that comes with your system if you invest today. All right, so you can get your proven system now at that link. So if you want to open that up in a new browser window, don't leave us here, but you can open that up in a new browser window and check out the details and invest in that system now. Now, if you're interested in exploring doing consulting with Annie and I, we have some options available. And what we recommend is book a free profit breakthrough session. So we're doing a limited number of free profit breakthrough sessions. So these sessions are normally $1,000. Because we do an intake with you, we do your session, and then we send you a action plan with a transcript and recording and stuff. So it's like a thing. And what we're doing in your profit breakthrough session is we're going to find the profit leaks in your business, give you an action plan, and then we'll discuss a consulting package to help you plug those profit leaks and help you implement this 6-step roadmap. And so we've got a few different consulting package options available. One of them is a VIP day, and you can get information on that right on the page where we have our plug and play system. You can get our system, and then you can also get the VIP day, which, by the way, if you get a consulting package with us, the system is included. The system's included. So if you already invested in the system and you decide that you want to get consulting, we will actually refund you for the system, or we'll take off the price of it on your consulting, right? So we'll just deduct it from your consulting because our system is included with all of our consulting packages. All right, so if you want to grab one of these free profit breakthrough sessions before they're gone, we're just doing a limited number, go to profitbreakthroughsession.com. profitbreakthroughsession.com. And Annie's dropping, I think, all the links in the chat right now. Yeah.
Yep,
So
I am.
Perfect. Thank you. Profitbreakthroughsession.com. Profit Breakthrough. And so we're doing a limited number of those. They're totally free, but just we're doing a limited number. So if you think that you're like, I want to explore maybe doing consulting, go get a free profit breakthrough. And then we together, through that, I can see what profit leaks you have and if Annie and I can actually help plug them. We're only going to work with ideal clients, right? We can only take on a few clients. And so we'll just let you know, like, if you're really not an ideal fit for us, then great, you at least got your free profit breakthrough session, awesome, you got some takeaways. And then we'll recommend that you just, get the system, the grab and go plug and play system. And then for those of you that are a perfect fit that we know we can knock out of the park and get you amazing results, then we'll go over our different consulting options that are available. Okay, now you can download your 90-day roadmap to higher profits. That is available at roadmaptomoreprofit.com. Roadmaptomoreprofit.com. So if you just download that handout, that is the whole thing that we went over today, your roadmaptomoreprofit.com. All right, it is time for a Q&A. I'm so excited to chat with you all. So yeah, let's do this. Let me see if I can pull up your, oh, I just want to see everybody on the screen. There we go. Okay. All right. Oh, and where's my chat? Let me pull up my chat. Okay, cool. Now I can see the chat. I'm at my parents' house in Florida right now, so I'm only on one screen, which usually I'm on multiple monitors, so I can like see the chat and see the people, but I'm only on one screen, so it is what it is. All right, y'all, what questions do you have for Annie and I? We would love to get them answered for you.
Yeah, so feel free to unmute yourself, or if it's easier or more convenient for you, you can also type in the question in the chat box too. So either way works for us.
Yeah, and feel free to, you can just like raise your hand too if you want, and then yeah, please unmute yourself.
I'll go ahead. Some of my questions are fairly granular, so if it's too detailed, you can just tell me it's not the best place for that question. The first one I have is about Notion. I've poked at it, but I haven't used it in any meaningful way, and I'm curious if as part of the program or even just as a hot tip, like, do you suggest any ways to both shortcut getting started with Notion and I know that the best way to use it is with some kind of a template for how to systematize everything. Otherwise it gets very random. So it's a Notion question.
Okay. I don't know that I have like any 2-minute Notion tips. I mean, what I would do is look at like what things in your business are bogging you down the most. Like what's your lowest hanging fruit, right? Because the thing with technology is we want to use technology to make our life easier and to save us time. And so what we don't want to do is overcomplicate it. Like Notion can do loads and loads of things. And it could very well be that for your business, 80% of those things aren't really going to move the needle. And so it's really figuring out what are the things that this can do that will actually free up your team, accomplish whatever it is that you need to accomplish. I would first back up and look at it more from that. Like, what are your biggest holes in your business? Where are your profit leaks? Where are things inefficient? Where are things not organized? And what is the one thing out of that would move the needle the fastest? And I would just do that first. So for example, if you're focusing on like SOPs right now and you want to use Notion to house all your SOPs, then I would just focus on that and slaying that dragon before you go on to the next one. What I wouldn't do is like binge 7,000 Notion videos and all of its capabilities and overwhelm yourself and spend like 20 hours trying to set up your whole company on Notion. Because you could like super easily do that, right?
Yes, this is why the question and why I
So no, what I would do is say, what is the one thing Notion can do that will actually make my life easier this week? Like by next week, my life will be easier because I did this one thing with it, and just do that one thing. And then look at like, okay, what's another thing I could do? And then by the end of a year, the thing is you like potentially have a whole bunch of things that it's doing for you, right? So I would just like, how do you eat an elephant? Like one bite at it. That's a horrible thing. Let's not eat elephants. Like how do you walk a journey of 1,000,000 miles? Like one step.
No, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense what you're saying. Thank you. And so let's see, the next question. So I've just some context. I've been self-employed for over 40 years. I've had variations on